Hello, everyone. My name's Geo, and welcome to a new episode of Games I Speak. So we had a lot of gaming news this week. There's too much, so I couldn't cover QuakeCon, which is going on right now. But this week we have a lot to cover, so let's begin. All right. So first up, we have State of Play, the newest PlayStation kind of recap of what they're going to be releasing soon. So I'm going to kind of go down here and just kind of talk about what interests me about the games. And so, yeah. Um, First up, we have Godfall. Now, this game to me looks like an action RPG, um, but the developers they call it a looter slasher. So, what does that mean? That means that you go around kind of hack and slash and you loot. So two very popular kind of genres of gameplay. Um, I thought the visuals were amazing. You can see here they look pretty nice. The colors are vivid. The animations are very exaggerated. Um, Now the art style is also very consistent, which I like. Um, so the game is going to have four environmental stages: earth, wind, fire, and water. There's going to be five weapon classes, dual blades, which is in this clip here, long sword, which I believe is here. Uh, you're going to have pole arm and two-handed warhammer and a greatsword. And you also have a shield, which you can call on command, which is very important. So one thing I like about what the game, aside from the way it looks and the way it looks like it plays, it really rewards offensive gameplay. Kind of like a game like Bloodborne or Sekiro. The only issue I had was that, like here, we can use this clip for example. The enemies, they kind of look slow and stupid at times. Like here he comes in just blasting this guy. By the time the guy swings, you're like long gone. So I really hope the enemies are more challenging than the way they look here. That was kind of my only concern. And it releases in 2020. So, okay, next up, Temtem. Um, so this is a creature collection MMO. I know what everyone's thinking. It looks like Pokemon. That's exactly what it looks like. Now, the PvP is a big part of this game. Uh, they have two-on-two battles, and they have since it's kind of like a MMO. They have chat battle, trade, and there's like a club system which you can think of guilds. Now, this game was crowdfunded and is currently playable on Steam for $37.49. So you can play it now if you want. You don't have to wait. And it has a very positive user score, which is very promising. So I don't think this game warrants as much skepticism as some people might have, because it's people are already playing it and they enjoy it. So yeah, this isn't my type of game, but definitely looks pretty cool, and it's launching in next year for PlayStation. All right. Then we have Hood Outlaws and Legend. So this game, when they played it, I thought it was something totally different than what it actually is. So it's an online team-based heist game, which I don't think I've ever played a game that's focused on that. I have played games that have that mode. Um, I can just think of like some of the older Battlefield games where you have to like collect. I believe you had to collect like gold or something. So you have two teams of four trying to steal treasure. Each team There's four unique classes. Now, I don't know if you have to pick a unique class. I don't know if it's random. I don't know how it works. The game is basically it's just an online PvP game where you're trying to steal treasure. The two games are trying to steal treasure the best way. Now, it's not just like kill each other and the last man standing. There is strategy as well. But to me, the game looks incomplete. I don't think this is enough to compete in the market today. So I feel like they probably have to add more classes, more game modes, and then maybe like a single player campaign. I don't know, but the game looks incomplete to me. Um, and probably some more maps. So that's my criticism there. All right. Next up is a game that looked kind of uninspiring to me called The Pedestrian. Um, so this is a 2.5D puzzle platformer. As you can see here, you're actually this little guy, and you're traversing these puzzle platforms, but then you have like a sprawling environment in the background. Now, I was skeptical seeing it because it just didn't look like my type of game. But the game's on Steam and it has overwhelmingly positive reviews, which is something. That's something. Um, so obviously, the people that like puzzle games, platformers, you might like this game. Um, so yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with that. Okay, so next up we have Auto Chess. Now this is launching on PlayStation October 4. If you're if you're not familiar with Auto Chess, it's actually a mod from Dota 2, and you kind of pick your little characters, your heroes, and you put them on a map, and they just automatically fight it out. Now, it's currently an exclusive on the Epic Games Store and on mobile. Um, and it is a free to play game. So it's going to release on PS4 on October 31st. So now, me, I play the League of Legends version Team Tactics. Um, but if this is free to play, I mean, I might give it a shot too. So, but it's nothing. I mean, it's already an established game. So next up, we have Control. I don't know how you say this, AWE or AWE expansion 2. So Control got Game of the Year in many publications last year. I have it. I haven't played it yet, but I'm definitely interested. And I'm probably going to play it sometime soon. It's a third-person shooter action adventure game. And this is the second expansion for the game. So, and it's going to release August 27th this year. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to play the, initial version of the game before I consider getting an expansion, but this is a very well-loved game. Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR series coming to PSVR. So I don't know much about it. I was actually debating buying it. Um, it's currently on the Oculus Quest. It has pretty good ratings. And the story, it's basically a story-based Star Wars VR game where I believe you play. I don't know if you play a Sith or a Jedi, but you definitely like have a lightsaber and you use the Force. So, um, it's a cool story-based VR game from what I understand. So that I don't know how PSVR if it's going to be able to handle it. I don't think it's as good as Quest, but yeah, that's pretty cool that they're branching out. So this game, Bug Snacks. This is a interesting looking game. So it comes out holiday 2020 this year. Um, for the PS4, PS5, and it's also coming on the Epic Game Store. It looks like an adventure game where you can collect like little creatures using like puzzles. See how he uses that contraption and he captures that moth-looking creature? So you kind of like use these contraptions to collect these bug snacks. I'm guessing they're bugs that you eat, and then you return them for your village, and then over time your village grows and gets bigger. So it's kind of like a puzzle quest type like village simulator, I guess. The only thing I have with this game is that the graphics kind of look clunky. Um, the facial animations look clunky, and the dialogue was really cheesy. So I don't think I'm gonna be getting this particular game. So next up we have Anno Mutationem, and this is coming to PS4. So this is a cyberpunk action adventure game with RPG elements. So the interesting thing about the game is it switches between 2D and 3D gameplay. There's no current release date, but I did see a Steam page, so I'm guessing it's going to be on PlayStation and Steam. So yeah, this is one I'm definitely going to watch. If it gets high ratings, people enjoy it, I might get this one. So so this game, I'm going to cover this separately more in depth. But this game looks really cool. It's a beat 'em up with RPG elements. It has a great 80s neon art style, as you can see here. And it's supposed to release December 31st, which is a placeholder date usually. So, not sure if it's even going to release this year. And it's going to be on PlayStation and Steam. Now, there's a very serious allegation involving the development of this game. And so I'm going to cover that separately. So, okay, next up, Genshin Impact. This hits PS4 in the fall. Um, so this is a free-to-play open-world action RPG. Um, it has a nice-looking anime art style. Uh, beautiful looking. Well, the environment kind of looks a little plain here, but some of the environment looks beautiful. Um yeah, like right here, you can see like over the top JRPG like combat animations. So this is going to release sometime this year for PC, PlayStation, Switch, and mobile. And it's free to play, so definitely I'm probably going to try this out. And it kind of reminds me of I don't know if you all remember Aeon. For it was like a a really cool looking MMO that released. I don't know, like 5, 7 years ago. It kind of reminds me of that. So, and I played Aeon, and I enjoyed it. So I might pick this one up for free. Um, so here we have Braid. So I don't know if you've all seen like the indie game developer documentary. I can't remember the name, but this is kind of like one of the grandfathers of the modern indie movement. Um, this really blew up when it came out in 2008, and it got a lot of praise. So it's cool that it's getting an upgraded port. Um, from what I understand, they're like raising the fidelity and upgrading the graphics, but it's still going to have the same old quirky gameplay that people love. So, and next up we have Hitman 3 adds PS VR support. Now, what can I say here? I don't like that they focus just on the PlayStation for VR because the PlayStation VR is outdated compared to like, you know, the Valve Index or the Oculus Quest. So I don't like that they're locking it down to the PlayStation VR. But it does I have to admit it looks cool. So Hitman 3 is the final in the trilogy of the Hitman series. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar, it's a stealth assassination game. It's going to release January 2021 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Now, the PlayStation VR is special part of the game. It's going to allow you to play missions from 3 as well as missions from the first 2 as long as you own the games for PlayStation. So it's going to allow you to load locations from older games and do missions. And it's going to allow for VR first person assassinations. I don't know. I personally think that's awesome. I don't know how many parents would think that is awesome, but yeah. I don't have a PlayStation VR and I'm probably not going to get one, so sucks for me. And finally, the crown jewel of the state of play. We have Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. Now, I don't know if they just revealed it, but there's some cool things that they revealed in this state of play. So, first of all, this is a beloved series for PlayStation. I had some of the original Crash Bandicoot games. They're it's a 3D action platformer, and they're very similar to Donkey Kong in a lot of ways. So you can play the full game with several different characters, including this guy. I think his name is Dingodile. Guessing he's a mix between a dingo and a crocodile. You can earn skins, no microtransactions. So here's a skin here. Inverted mode changes the look of the entire game, as you can see here. So it's kind of like a cool, I don't know how to call it. Like if you had like on like thermal goggles or something, but there's gonna have several different ones. So this one kind of looks thermal. They're gonna have like an underwater one that I saw, and yeah, so that's cool. And it's gonna have several different inverted styles that change the art style. So I'm gonna pre-order this game. I'm excited for this game. This game looks awesome. So, all right. So that's it for the state of play. I thought it was a little underwhelming, but for me, the crown jewel was Crash Bandicoot 4. I'm definitely hype about that. And then, of course, the what's it called? Godfall, and the Genshin Impact. So those are my picks for that state of play. Definitely excited for those games, but overall it was kind of meh. So next up, so this is the scandal we're going to cover that I was talking about. So okay, here we have a tweet. So let's go into this. So I do want to say, I don't know if this is true. These are some very serious allegations. But the game I talked about, Aeon Must Die, that was in the PlayStation State of Play. So here it says devs quit this past week due to severe crunch and lack of payment. They used outsourced labor to produce the trailer used in the PlayStation State of Play. This, first of all, you can read this here. Let's see. This trailer was created with abuse, manipulation, theft. Find out the truth about the development of this game here. And there's a Dropbox. I don't think I'll click that. I'm just going to take this allegation for what it is. People who have worked on every shot of this are no longer with the company holding IP rights. Some were not even paid for their work. This trailer has a pending conflict of IP. The real IP for the game was stolen from the creators via foul play. Final reaction of the publisher to this information remains to be seen. Okay, so what does all this mean? So I don't know who's to fault here, if it's management or if it's the development studio. But the developer is Limestone Games. So in there, they say the final reaction of the publisher remains to be seen. So I assume the publisher doesn't know. So the publisher is Focus Home Interactive. Now, this is serious. This type of behavior, if it's true, is not acceptable. So that brings up the question, like, first of all, what the developers, they left in protest, obviously, because they weren't being treated right. So one, I would say definitely hire some lawyers, take legal action, sue the developer studio, get your payback. And for the people who originally owned the IP that say that they had it stolen, you should also retain lawyers and try to get your IP back. Now, what should the publisher do? Well, if I were the publisher, I would probably stop funding the game. And if I was Sony, I would be like, hey, I'm going to distance myself from this nightmare. And we're no longer going to have it on our platform. So it's a shame. I hate when this kind of behavior is exposed in the gaming world, but let's be real, it happens all the time. So and as a gamer, if this is true, then I'm taking a stand right here. I will not buy this game. So there. All right. Next up, we have Street Fighter V Champion Edition Summer Update. So this is their newest kind of like announcement regarding the future of Street Fighter V. All right, so let's cover everything in this update. So the big news is we have four new characters announced. So we have Dan. He's kind of like the clumsy Shotokan. He was in the last Street Fighter. He's kind of like, he's a troll character where you can actually incorporate his taunt into combos to kind of humiliate your opponent. That's kind of his style. You have Rose. She is the sensei of Manat. So she uses her orb power as well. She's a really solid zoning character. And in fact, one of the Street Fighter 4 Evo champions, Luffy, he used her and dominated with her in Street Fighter 4. So she's a good character. Then you have Oro. He's from Third Strike, I believe. I never played him. He's kind of like a cool, tricky character to play. Has a lot of mix-up game. So he's definitely a good addition. And then you have Akira from Rival Schools. Now, I have Rival Schools. I haven't played it in a long time, so I'm definitely going to go back and check her out, check out her moveset. But she kind of looks like a up close in your face rushdown character, so that's pretty cool. So each character is going to have new stages. They're all going to get new costumes, and there's also a third season of the Street Fighter League announced. Now, this season's going to be different because instead of focusing on a region, this is going to be global. So they're going to pit the best of the best from every region against each other and then you're gonna have a winner. So that's pretty cool. And if you haven't watched Street Fighter League, I fully recommend it. It's really fun to watch. And then the last thing is kind of like a promotional thing. They have crossover between Street Fighter and AEW wrestling. I don't know if you guys know who Kenny Omega is, but he's a huge Street Fighter fan, and he often is kind of like a community guy for Capcom. So that's it. Um, Definitely looking forward to the new characters. Um, I'm gonna get them all, but I'm mostly interested in Akira, playing Akira. So can't wait for that to come out. All right. Next up, we have Mortal Shell. So I kind of covered Mortal Shell already in a previous podcast. It's an action RPG. Um, to say it's Dark Souls inspired is kind of an understatement. It is kind of trying to be Dark Souls. So there is some different mechanics, but it basically is a Dark Souls uh, clone, if you will, in a lot of ways. Yeah, let's jump into that. So Mortal Shell, this was announced for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Epic Game Store, and Steam. But Steam is going to be in 2021. So obviously they have they probably have a 1 year or like a limited exclusive PC release on Epic Game Store. So all right. So I downloaded the demo of this game and I played the demo, which is about an hour long. Um, so this game is, like I said, it's a Dark Souls inspired action RPG. You can see gameplay here. I mean, that just looks like Dark Souls. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way. But it's got some different mechanics. So let's get into this. Now, the way it works is you're kind of like a shell. That's why it's called Mortal Shell. And you are like a husk almost. Think of I can't believe I'm blanking on this. But think I can't even think of it right now. But here, let me show you a picture. We had it in this. Uh, all right. I don't know if this is you, but you're like, I don't think that's you, but you're like a shell. You're like a white shell, and you're just a husk, and you pick up these armor suits, and each armor suit is a class. So that's how the game does a class. So it's the combat is a little slower pace and requires slower pace and requires careful execution. Um, each weapon or each armor class gives you unique weapons and abilities. So here you can see he's kind of like a knight. I believe this is the thief class. And so that's how the game works. You find and unlock different armor classes as the game goes. Those are your shells, aka Mortal Shell, and you unlock new abilities. You can upgrade them. You can get new skills, I believe, and you have a hardening ability too, where you can actually like kind of harden yourself. And um, so yeah. Now, what I didn't really give an initial impression of the game. I thought the game was fun. I thought it was slow paced. It did remind me of Dark Souls, but even it seemed to leave it to be like even a little bit slower than Dark Souls. It felt like I was moving in like mud. Like your character is very heavy. You feel super heavy. Um, but the gameplay was fun. It was hard, like a Dark Souls game. So I'm gonna play it. I'm just saying that now. I want to give it its fair chance. I love these type of games. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be as good as Dark Souls because like I'm a hardcore Dark Souls guy. I've played all three of them except for Demon Souls, which I own thanks to Josie. And I have to go back and play that. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna give this game a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot, and I might do a review on it for everyone. So definitely check it out. It's coming out, I believe. What did I say here? The 18th, coming out everywhere. So definitely, if you're a Dark Souls fan, check out that game. All right. So next up, we have Pikmin 3 removed from the Wii U eShop. So, all right, let's get into this because this is a recurring theme on this podcast. Um, so it's going to be removed from the Wii U shop. What does that mean? You can't buy it anymore on the Wii U shop. That's all that means. If you own the game, I assume you'll still be able to download and play it. Um, it's being ported over to Nintendo Switch. Uh, you're going to have to buy it for the Nintendo Switch. It's going to be full price, $59.99. The Wii U version is $19.99. So what does that mean? That means they're shoring up their profits. All right. So they're removing it from the Wii U shop so that all new purchase of the game, you're going to have to buy it at full price. So this is their right as a company. I hate to say it. Now, is this a good practice for consumers? No, but this is what companies do. They take an old product, they like polish it up, and then they resell it for full price. So, what's the solution here? The solution is own a physical copy of the game. Me and Josie have been saying that. Um, if you rely solely on digital games, first of all, this game's old. So if you haven't played it by now, um, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to cry about it, but go out and buy a physical version for the Wii U. If you have a Wii U, you want to play this game, go buy a physical copy. That's the solution in my book. Don't don't rely on digital. Just don't rely on digital. And if this is like a super like if you love this game, I would definitely buy a physical copy as well. So me, I don't think I'm gonna. This isn't a big issue for me because I never had a Wii U. But my solution to this: buy a physical copy of the game. I looked up. There's still physical copies for the Wii U selling for $20. So if you have a Wii U, you want to play this game, you're upset about this, go out and buy a physical copy. That's my answer to you. So, all right. Next up, Tenchu Stealth Assassin. All right. So this is a series of game that I played as a kid and I loved it. So let me kind of talk about what this article on PSU is talking about. So Japanese game developer Acquire. So they made all the old Tenchu games. So they just registered a trademark for stealth assassins in Japan. So what does that mean? Well, it could mean nothing, or it could mean something. The last Tenchu Shadow Assassins was released on the PSP in 2009. So the first game was released on the PlayStation in 1998. So, um, does this mean that they're gonna make a new game? I don't know because the actual IP is owned by From Software, the the makers of Dark Souls and Sekiro. So, how do I feel about this? Well, it is a rumor, so you have to take these things with a grain of salt. Now, I believe it is true that they did register that trademark. So, what does that mean? Could they be working together with From Software to make a new Tenchu game? I don't know, but I hope so. I hope that's true because I love the Tenchu games. And Josie even talked about this on a past episode. He said that when Sekiro was announced, some people thought it might be a new Tenchu game. So, yeah. Now, let's talk. How will it compare to the older games? Well, the older games are very dated now. So, I assume it would be more similar to Sekiro. And they could actually reuse the Sekiro engine for Tenchu if they wanted to. And then they could just bring back some of the classic, tropes from the original Tenchu games, like the poison rice and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I hope this rumor is true. If a new Tenchu game is announced, I will pre-order that thing in a second. So, just keep in mind this is a rumor, but yeah, I totally hope this is true. And I do hope that even though From Software owns IP, that they would get kind of input, or it could be a cross collaboration with the original developers because yeah, I love the original games and I would want a newer version to have as much of the feel as the older ones as possible. All right. So finally, we have our upcoming releases. So let's go over those real quick. So, all right, coming up this next week, we have Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up a Girls in a Dungeon? Now, I believe I talked about this last week. So this week it's coming out on PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. I don't know why I talked about it last week. I thought it was already coming out. Okay, maybe I jumped ahead a week. Um, yeah. So yeah, okay. It looks like I already covered all these games. So yeah, I'm not really too interested in any of these. Like I said before, the UFC 4 game doesn't look right. It doesn't look like they updated anything, really. I mean, it has all new fighters because there's new fighters in the UFC, but like as far as the engine goes and the gameplay goes, doesn't really look that good. And then Total War Saga Troy, I have played the Total War games. They're great, so I assume the Total War fans are gonna like that. And then Risk of Rain 2, I said that was like a third person roguelike shooter game. And that one, this is the one I'm actually, you know what? I take that back. I did say I was interested in this game. So this one I might actually pick up on PC. So yeah, that's it for this week, everyone. I'm glad, if you're watching this podcast, thank you. Your support means everything. We're on YouTube. We're also on. You can download our podcast using like any kind of podcast kind of collection app. And then I'm thinking about bringing this to Twitch too and streaming it live instead of just kind of like recording it and then just putting it up on YouTube and everyone has to wait. So yeah, if you like it, please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. Please let us know if we can make it better. There are some changes coming. A new camera. I'm gonna have a new background. I'm gonna tidy it up. And yeah, so thanks everyone for watching. Take care, and we'll see you all next week. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of Games I Speak. If you liked the episode, please subscribe and leave a comment below, and we'll see you all next time.